Yo, what's up, Eagles Nation? You're locked into Eagles Nest News. And let me just say we are officially on the countdown. The 2025 NFL season opener is right around the corner. And it kicks off with one of the most electric matchups in football, Eagles versus Cowboys, under the lights on a Thursday night at Lincoln Financial Field. September 4th is the date. The stage is set. The crowd's gonna be rowdy. The drinks will be flowing in the South Philly parking lots all day. And the Birds will be raising their second Super Bowl championship banner right in front of their oldest rival. That's not just a game, that's a statement night, and if you're anything like me, just hearing the word Cowboys gets your blood boiling. You already know what I'm about to say. F Dallas. Drop it in the comments. Say it loud. Type it proud. If you hate the Cowboys, let the algorithm know. Now, let's talk real. This matchup might actually be a big break for the Birds. Think about it. Philadelphia is coming off a dominant Super Bowl run, finishing last year with a record of 14 victorias and just 3 derrotas. That's not just good, that's championship football. Meanwhile, Dallas is crawling into this season after a brutal 7-10 campaign that saw them plagued by injuries, lack of execution, and just plain bad football. And to add to the mess, Mike McCarthy's out, gone, and replacing him is Ryan Schottenheimer, a name that doesn't exactly strike fear into the hearts of opposing coaches. He was the offensive coordinator last year, but he wasn't even calling plays. Now he's the head coach. Come on, this is the guy they're trusting to lead them back to glory. That hire says a lot about where the Cowboys are as a franchise, and where they are as desperate. When I visited the Star in Frisco, a shiny, impressive facility, no doubt, I couldn't help but think about how nice everything looked on the outside. Lavish restaurants, clean turf fields, and an entire complex celebrating Cowboys history. But for all that polish and all that money Jerry Jones has poured into that place, what do they have to show for it since 1995? Nothing. Nada. They've made the playoffs 12 times since then, and they've only managed to win 4 games in total. 4, that's it. And only one of those wins came beyond the wild card round. That's what you call underachieving at the highest level. So yeah, I saw that big Dallas Star on the turf, and just like Terrell Owens did back in the day, I had to wipe my feet on it. Couldn't resist. In my head, I was yelling, "Go Birds, Super Bowl 59 champs." Back to week 1. This isn't just a rivalry game, it's a huge tone setter for both teams. For the Eagles, it's about defending the title, showing the rest of the league that last year wasn't a fluke, and starting this season off with a punch right to the mouth of the team that claims to be America's team. For Dallas, it's about trying to prove they still belong in the conversation. But here's the thing, they don't look like a team that's ready for that kind of fight. Their quarterback, still Dak Prescott, he's coming off a season where he started 8 games and threw 8 picks. The Cowboys went 3-5 in those games, so even when he was healthy, they were average at best. Add in the fact that he's recovering from a torn hamstring and has a shaky offensive line protecting him, and you've got serious question marks right out of the gate. They did make a move for George Pickens, and I'll give them credit there. That's a solid addition to pair with CD Lamb. But the rest of that wide receiver group is forgettable. Their running back room, honestly, it's one of the worst in the entire league. Javonte Williams had one of the lowest rushing grades in the NFL last year. Miles Sanders fell off a cliff after leaving Philly, looked completely lost with Carolina. And now Dallas is hoping those two can somehow carry the ground game behind an offensive line that returns for 5 starters from last season. A season where they struggled to open holes, committed penalties left and right, and ranked near the bottom in run-blocking metrics. That's not improvement, that's stagnation. The Cowboys' offensive line was number 26 in yards before contact per rush. That means their running backs were getting hit almost immediately. They were bottom 5 in offensive holding penalties and false starts. They just couldn't stay clean. And when they did try to run, it wasn't working. Through the first 9 weeks last year, they were number 30 in yards per carry at 3.08. That's just bad football. They were also near the bottom in explosive run rate. In fact, they didn't even have a single run over 15 yards in that entire stretch. Think about that. In today's NFL, where speed and athleticism are everywhere, they couldn't break one decent run in half a season. That tells you everything. Now, I know some Cowboys fans are going to point to Javonte's early days in Denver, or Sanders' breakout year in Philly back in 2022 and say, hey, we've got talent. But go look at the data. Denver had the top-rated offensive line last year, number 1 in both run block and pass block win rate according to ESPN. And Javonte Williams still finished 45th out of 47 in rushing yards over expected. He was second to last in rushes that gained more than expected, and if you like old school stats, it gets even worse. He was dead last in yards after contact per carry, bottom 5 in fumbles, bottom 5 in explosive plays. That's the guy they're banking on. That's the dude they're putting in the backfield and saying, lead us. Good luck with that. Defensively, Dallas isn't looking much better. They still have over half of their starters returning from last year's underwhelming unit. They've swapped out Dan Quinn for Matt Eberflus as the new defensive coordinator, which is a big shift. Eberflus has a totally different philosophy and feel for calling plays, and with minimal upgrades in personnel, it's going to take time for that defense to find its identity. Unfortunately for them, they won't have that time in Week 1 when they face a Philadelphia offense that brings back 10 of 11 starters from their Super Bowl run. That kind of continuity is rare, and it matters. The Eagles are going to come out fast, in sync, and aggressive. The Cowboys, they'll be adjusting on the fly, and let's talk about trenches because in the NFL, you win games there. The Eagles have one of the deepest and most disrupted defensive lines in the game, and when you match that up against the Cowboys' offensive line that was mediocre last year and is basically running it back, that's advantage Philly all day. When the Eagles control the line of scrimmage, they dominate time of possession, wear down defenses, and force opposing quarterbacks into mistakes. That's a formula that works, and it's going to be especially potent against the Cowboys team still trying to figure out who they are. Looking at the schedule, this opener becomes even more important for Philly. After Week 1, they have a mini-bye before heading into a brutal stretch, Kansas City in Week 2, a Rams team that nearly pulled off the upset in the playoffs. Then Tampa Bay on the road, a team that's always tricky. And finally the Denver Broncos at home, who now have Bo Nix under center, a revamped defense, and we're number 1 in offensive line rankings across the board last season. That's for very real challenges in the first 5 weeks. So getting a win early gives the Eagles some breathing room. 1-0 is a whole lot better than playing catch-up. And what about the Cowboys' schedule? You'd think after finishing third in the NFC East, they'd get a little break. Nope. Based on projected win totals, they have the 11th hardest schedule in the league. If you look at schedule efficiency metrics, it's even worse. It's the 7th most difficult in the entire NFL. And it gets absolutely brutal after Week 12. Get this down the stretch. They face the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Lions, the Vikings, the Commanders, and the Chargers. Every single one of those teams made the playoffs last year. That's a meat grinder of a schedule. So if Dallas stumbles out of the gate, it's not going to get any easier. In fact, we might be looking at another classic Cowboys collapse just in time for the holidays. And before we wrap this part up, let me hit you with one more stat. Dak Prescott has been in the league for 9 seasons, and all that time, he has never made it past the divisional round. Never, not once. That's their guy. That's the leader they're sticking with. Meanwhile, the Eagles just won a Super Bowl, are bringing back a loaded roster, have one of the best defensive lines in football, and are playing with house money heading into 2025. So when people ask me, who you got Week 1, you already know. Type D for Dallas if you've lost your mind, but for the rest of us, it's fly Eagles fly, baby. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy, share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the NFL and left fans across the United States buzzing with speculation, the Philadelphia Eagles have reportedly set their sights on none other than Micah Parsons, the dazzling star linebacker from the Dallas Cowboys. While nothing has been officially confirmed yet, whispers around the league suggest that the Eagles are seriously considering a blockbuster acquisition that could redefine the landscape of the NFC East. Micah Parsons, known for his explosive speed, relentless pass rushing skills, and game-changing versatility, has quickly become one of the most feared defensive players in the league. Since bursting onto the scene as a rookie, Parsons has continually elevated his game, cementing his status as a cornerstone for the Cowboys' defense. The idea of him switching sides to join the Eagles, a rival franchise, has naturally ignited intense debate and curiosity among fans, analysts, and insiders alike. The rumor first surfaced through several unnamed sources close to the Eagles' front office, hinting at ongoing discussions that could lead to a seismic trade. While details remain murky, It's believed that Philadelphia is willing to offer significant assets in return, potentially including high draft picks or promising young talent to secure Parsons' services. This kind of bold strategy would signal the Eagles' ambition to build a championship-caliber defense around one of the league's most dynamic players if the deal comes to fruition. The implications would be enormous. Not only would it dramatically strengthen the Eagles' defensive unit, but it would also send a strong message to the rest of the NFL about Philadelphia's aggressive approach to team building. On the other hand, such a trade would deal a tough blow to the Cowboys, who have counted heavily on Parsons as a foundational piece of their defense and a leader on and off the field. The timing of these rumors is particularly intriguing, as both teams are preparing for upcoming seasons with playoff aspiration. The NFC East rivalry has long been fierce, and the prospect of Parsons donning the Eagles' green jersey adds a fresh layer of intrigue and intensity to an already heated division battle. Fans on both sides are eagerly watching for any official announcements or leaks that might confirm or dispel this potential blockbuster move. While the Eagles have not made any public statements regarding Parsons, and the Cowboys remain tight-lipped, the mere possibility of such a high-profile transfer has generated a whirlwind of conversation across sports media outlets, social platforms, and fan forums. Analysts are already debating how Parsons would fit into the Eagles' defensive schemes and what this might mean for the balance of power in the NFC. As the NFL offseason continues, one thing is certain: the buzz surrounding Micah Parsons and the Philadelphia Eagles is impossible to ignore. Whether this rumor will materialize into a headline-grabbing trade or remain just a tantalizing possibility, it has undoubtedly captured the imagination of football enthusiasts nationwide. The coming weeks promise to be full of twists and turns as the Eagles weigh their options and the Cowboys brace for what could be a pivotal moment in their franchise's future. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.